THC Induced Psychosis. I get asked about this all the time, so let's dive into it. If you don't believe that it happens, you're an asshole. I'm Lex Pelger. I do canna education for CV Sciences, the makers of Plus CBD, who values honesty in education. Again, I'm not going to post a whole bunch of papers. This is a gigantic literature. If you want my entire file, you can DM me for it. You can see the more positivistic treatment side of the data at CVResearch.info, where I maintain their archive. But it is a whole bunch of research that points in one direction. People can ingest cannabis and have psychotic breaks from reality that are intense and disturbing and last for days, weeks, and yes, I've heard of months and even years. This happens to people for sure. It gets mixed up with the literature about schizophrenia, and of course they're intertwined, but they're different things. I'm not talking about cannabis bringing out schizophrenia in someone that already has a genetic predisposition to it. I'm talking about someone who is otherwise mentally stable and a bad THC experience causing a break from reality. If you haven't seen that, you need to get out more. It's not just because I'm a drug writer and this is the focus of what I talk to about with people. Also, just being around. I know people have had terrible, terrible experiences because of cannabis, and not always high doses. Sometimes it's because they're in a bad environment and get a low dose, and sometimes they're just very sensitive people to THC. This makes sense because everybody has different variants of their CB1 receptor, and so some people tend to a much more negative reaction on the psychoactive side when they take THC. So my hope is that this video will blow up and then that these comments will be filled with people talking about their experiences, because that is where I learn from, and I appreciate all the comments you have about this. So yes, this does happen to people. It does tend to be transient, but the treatments are, there's some data about high levels of isolated CBD. Of course, ketamine can be helpful for breaking a psychosis cycle as well. But the data is clear. If a state legalizes cannabis, there tends to be more cannabis-related psychosis admissions to their emergency rooms. You see a lot of public health data pointing towards this. And so I think the main thing is we have to be honest that cannabis can cause this. Yes, it's a very non-toxic plant physically, but it can cause these kind of negative break from reality effects in a small subset of people. So let's support those people who experience this.